गूढा तमहाविभूत्या ओंकारमर्म प्रतिपादिनेभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम् होत्राग्निहोत्राग्निहवेशहोत्री होमादिसर्वा घृतिभासमानं यद्ब्रह्म तद्बोधवितारिणीभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम् कामादिसर्प व्रजगारुणाभ्यां विवेकवैराग्यनिधिप्रदाभ्यां बोधाप्रदाभ्यां धृतमोक्षदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम् अनन्तसंसारसमुद्रतारा नौकायिताभ्यां स्थिरभक्तिदाभ्यां जाड्यादिशंशोषणवाडवाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ अस्य श्री गुरुगीतास्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य भगवान् सदाशिवर्षि नानाविधानि छन्दांसि श्रीगुरो परमात्मा देवता हम बीजं सशक्ति क्रों कीलकं श्रीगुरो प्रसाद सिद्ध्यर्थे जपे विनियोगः अथ ध्यानम् हंसाभ्यां परिवृत्तपत्रकमले निवे जगत्कारणे विश्वोत्कीर्णमनेकदेहनिलये स्वच्छन्दमात्मेच्छया तद्योदम्बदजाम्बवं तु चरणं दीपाङ्गुरग्राहिणं प्रत्यक्षाक्षरविग्रहं गुरुपदं ध्यायेत् विभुं शाश्वतं। सूत उवाच कैलासशिखरे रम्ये भक्तिसन्धाननायकं प्रणम्य पार्वती भक्त्या शङ्करं परिपृच्छति। श्रीदेव्युवाच ॐ नमो देवदेवेश परात्पर जगद्गुरो सदाशिव महादेव गुरुदीक्षां प्रदेहि मे। येन मार्गेण भो स्वामिन् देहि ब्रह्ममयो भवेत् त्वं कृपां कुरु मे स्वामिन् नमामि चरणौ तव। ईश्वर उवाच मम रूपासि देवे त्वं त्वत्प्रीत्यर्थं वदाम्यहं लोकोपकारकप्रश्नो न केनापि कृतः पुरा। दुर्लभं त्रिषु लोकेषु तच्छृणुस्व वदाम्यहं गुरुं विना ब्रह्म नान्यत् सत्यं सत्यं वरानने। वेदशास्त्रपुराणानि इतिहासादिकानि च मन्त्रयन्त्रादि स्मृतिरुच्चाटनादिकं शैवशाक्तगमादीनि अन्यानि विविधानि च अपभ्रंशकराणि जीवानां भ्रान्तचेतसाम्। यज्ञं व्रतं तपोदानं जपं तीर्थं तथैव च गुरुतत्त्वमविज्ञ मूढस्तु चरते जनः गुरुर्बुद्ध्यात्मनो नान्यत् सत्यं सत्यं न संशयः तल्लभतं प्रयत्नस्तु कर्तव्यो हि मनीषिभिः गूढविद्या जगन्माया देहे चाज्ञानसम्भवा उदयो यत्प्रकाशेन गुरुशब्देन कथ्यते सर्वपापविशुद्धात्मा श्रीगुरोपादसेवनात् देहि ब्रह्म भवेद्यस्मात् त्वत्कृपार्थं वदामि ते गुरोपादाम्बुजं स्मृत्वा जलं शिरसि धारयेत् सर्वतीर्थावगाहस्य सम्प्राप्नोति फलं नरः शोषणं पापपङ्कस्य दीपनं ज्ञानतेजसां गुरोपादोदकं सम्यक् संसारार्णवसारकम् अज्ञानमूलहरणं जन्मकर्मनिवारणं ज्ञानवैराग्यसिद्ध्यर्थं गुरोपादोदकं पिबेत् गुरोपादोदकं पीत्वा गुरोरुच्छिष्टभोजनं गुरुमूर्ते सदा ध्यानं गुरुमन्त्रं काशीक्षेत्रं तन्निवासो जाह्नवीचरणोदकं गुरुर्विश्वेश्वरः साक्षात् तारकं ब्रह्म निश्चितं गुरोपादोदकं यत्तु गयासौ सोक्षयो वटः तीर्थराजा प्रयागस्य गुरुमूर्ते नमो नमः गुरुमूर्तिं स्मरे नित्यं गुरुनाम सदा जपेत् गुरोराज्ञां प्रकृतिरन्यभावयेत् गुरुवक्त्रस्थितं ब्रह्म प्राप्यते तत्प्रसादतः गुरुर्ध्यानं तदा कुर्यात् कुलस्त्रीस्वपतिर्यथा स्वाश्रमं च स्वजातिं च स्वकीर्तिपुष्टिवर्धनम् एतत् सर्वं परित्यज्य गुरोरन्यन्यभावयेत् अनन्या चिन्तयन्तो मां सुलभं परमं पदं तस्मात् सर्वप्रयत्नेन त्रैलोक्ये स्फुटवक्तारो देवाद्यसुरपन्नगा निवृत्तस्थिता गुरोभक्त्या दुलभ्यते भूकारस्त्वन्धकारश्च ऋकारस्तेज उच्यते अज्ञानग्रासकं ब्रह्म गुरोरेव न संशयः उकार प्रथमो वर्णो मायादिगुणभासकः ऋकारो द्वितीयो ब्रह्म मायाभ्रान्तिविनाशनम् देवानामपि दुर्लभं हा हा हू हू गणश्चैव गन्धर्वैश्च प्रपूज्यते सर्वेषां नास्ति तत्त्वं गुरोपरम् आसनं शयनं वस्त्रं भूषणं वाहनादिकं साधकेन प्रदातव्यं गुरुसन्तोषकारकं गुरोराराधनं कार्यं स्वजीवित्वं निवेदयेत् कर्मणा मनसा वाचा नित्यमाराधयेत् गुरुं निर्गदण्डं नमस्कृत्य निर्लज्जो गुरुसन्निधौ सद्गुरुभ्यो निवेदयेत् आत्मदारादिकं सर्वं सद्गुरुभ्यो निवेदयेत् कृमिकीटभस्मविष्टा दुर्गन्धिमलमूत्रकं श्लेष्मरक्तं त्वचं मांसं वञ्चयन्नवरानने अन्तारवृक्षमारूढा पतन्तो नरकार्णवे येन चैव धृता सर्वे तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हेतवे जगतामेव संसारार्णवसेतवे प्रभवे सर्वविद्यानां सम्भवे गुरुवे तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वं च मे माता त्वं बन्धुस्त्वं च देवता संसारप्रतिबोधार्थं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यत्सत्येन जगत्सत्यं यत्प्रकाशेन भाति तत् यदानन्देन नन्दन्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यस्थित्या सत्यमिदं यद्भाति भानुरूपतः प्रियं पुत्रादि यत्प्रीत्या तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चित्तं चेतायते नयं जाग्रत्स्वप्नसुषुप्त्यादि तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यस्य ज्ञानादिदं विश्वं न दृश्यं भिन्न वेदतः सदेकरूपरूपाय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यस्यामतं तस्य मतं मतं यस्यानवेदसः अनन्यभावभावाय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यस्य कारणरूपस्य कार्यरूपेण भाति यत् कार्यकारणरूपाय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नानारूपमिदं सर्वं न केनाप्यस्ति भिन्नता कार्यकारणता चैव तस्मै श्रीगुरवे। अग्निकमलद्वन्द्वं द्वन्द्वतापनिवारकं तारकं सर्वदापद्भ्य श्रीगुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम्। शिवे क्रोध्ये गुरुस्त्राता गुरो क्रोध्ये शिवो नहि तस्मात् सर्वप्रयत्नेन श्रीगुरुं शरणं व्रजे। वन्दे गुरुपदद्वन्द्वं वाङ्मनश्चित्तगोचरं श्वेतरक्तप्रभाविन्नं शिवशक्त्यात्मकं गुणातीतं ऋकारं रूपवर्जितं गुणातीतस्वरूपं च यो दद्यात् स गुरुस्मृता। आत्रिनेत्र सर्वसाक्षी आचतुर्बाहुरच्युतः आचतुर्वदनो ब्रह्मा श्रीगुरो कथिता प्रिय। अयं मयाञ्जलिर्बद्धो दयासागरवृद्धये यदानुग्रहतो जन्तुश्चित्रसंसार। श्रीगुरो परमं रूपं विवेकचक्षुषोमृतं मन्दवाग्या न पश्यन्ति मन्दा सूर्योदयं यथा। त्रिनाथचरणद्वन्द्वं यस्यां दिशि विराजते तस्यै दिशे नमस्कुर्यात् भक्त्या प्रतिदिनं प्रिये। तस्यै दिशे सततमञ्जलिरेषार्ये प्रक्षेप्यते मुखरितौ मधुपैर्बुधैः जागर्ति यत्र भगवान् गुरुचक्रवर्ती विश्वोदय प्रलयनाथगणेत्यसाक्षी श्रीनाथादिगुरुत्रयं गणपतिं पीठत्रयं भैरवं सिद्धौघं वटुकत्रयं पदयुगं क्रमं मण्डलम् वीरान्द्वष्टचतुष्टशशिनवकं वीरावली पञ्चकं श्रीमन्मालिनी मन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरुर्मण्डलम् अभ्यासे सकले सुदीर्घमनिले व्याधे प्रदैर्दुष्कर प्राणायामसतैरनेककरणे दुःखात्मके दुर्जये यस्मिन्नाभ्युदिते विनश्यति बले वायु स्वयं तत्क्षणात् प्राप्तुं तत्सहजं स्वभावमनिशम् सेवत्वमेकं गुरुं स्वदेशिकस्यैव शरीरचिन्तनं भवेदनन्तस्य शिवस्य चिन्तनं स्वदेशिकस्य वचनामकीर्तनं भवेदनन्तस्य शिवस्य कीर्तनं यत्पादरेणुकणिका कापि संसारवारिधे सेतुबन्धायते नाथं देशिकं तमुपास्महे यस्मादनुग्रहं लब्ध्वा महादज्ञानमुत्सृजेत् तस्मै श्रीदेशिकेन्द्राय नमः शाविष्टसिद्धये पादाब्जं सर्वसंसारनाशकं ब्रह्मरन्ध्रेषिताम्बोधं चन्द्रमण्डले अकथादित्रिरेखाब्जे सहस्रदलमण्डले हंसपार्श्वत्रिकोणे च स्मरे तन्मध्यगं गुरुम् सकलभुवनसृष्टे कल्पिताशेषपुष्टे निखिलनिगमदृष्टे सम्पदाम्यर्थदृष्टे अवगुणपरिमाष्टे सत्पदार्थैकदृष्टि भवगुणपरमेष्टे मोक्षमार्गैकदृष्टि सकलभुवनरङ्गा स्थापनस्तम्भयष्टि सकरुणरसवृष्टि तत्त्वमाला समष्टि सकलसमयदृष्टि सच्चिदानन्ददृष्टि निवसतु मयि नित्यं श्रीगुरुर्दिव्यदृष्टि अग्निशुद्धं समन्तातु ज्वालापरिचकादिया मन्त्रराजामिमं मन्ये हर्निशं पातु मृत्युतः तदेजति तन्नैजति तद्दूरे तत्समीपके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदो सर्वस्य वाह्यतः अजोऽहमजरोऽहं च अनादिनिधनस्वयम् अविकारश्चिदानन्द अणीयान्महतो महत् अपूर्वाणां परं नित्यं स्वयं ज्योतिर्निरामयं विरजं परमाकाशं ध्रुवमानन्दमव्ययम् श्रुतिप्रत्यक्षमैतीयम् अनुमानश्चतुष्टयम् यस्य चात्मा तपो वेद देशिकं तम् मननं यद्भवं कार्यं तद्वदामि महामते। साधु त्वं च मया दृष्टं त्वयि तिष्ठति साम्प्रतम्। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सर्वस्ति शिरोरत्ना विराजितपदाम्बुजा वेदान्ताम्बुजसूर्योय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण ज्ञानमुत्पद्यते स्वयं य एव सर्वभूतानि तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चैतन्यं शाश्वतं शान्तं व्योमातीतं निरञ्जनं नादबिन्दुकलातीतं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं चैव तथा चैव चराचरं व्याप्तं येन जगत्सर्वं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढा तत्त्वमाला विभूषिता भुक्तिमुक्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अनेकजन्म सम्प्राप्त सर्वकर्मविदायिने स्वात्मज्ञानप्रभावेण तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वं ज्ञानात् परं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मन्नाथ जगद्गुरो ममात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ज्ञानमूलं गुरुर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरुकृपा गुरुरादिरनादिश्च गुरुपरमदैवतं गुरुपरतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सप्तसागरपर्यन्तं गुरुपर सहस्रांशेन दुर्लभं हरौरुष्टे गुरुस्त्राता गुरोरुष्टेन कश्चन तस्मात् सर्वप्रयत्नेन श्रीगुरुं शरणं व्रजे। गुरुरेव जगत्सर्वं ब्रह्म विष्णु शिवात् गुरुतरं नास्ति तस्मात् सम्पूजयेत् गुरुं। ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं लभ्यते गुरुभक्तितः गुरुपरतरं नास्ति देयोऽसौ गुरुमार्गिभिः। यस्मात् परतरं नास्ति नेति नेतीति वै श्रुतिः मनसा वचसा चैव नित्यमाराधयेत् गुरुम्। विष्णु सदाशिव समर्थ प्रभवादौ च केवलं गुरुसेवया देवकिन्नरगन्धर्व पितरो यक्षकारणा गुरुशुश्रूषणे विधिं महाहङ्कारगर्वेण तपो विद्याबलान्विता संसारकुहरावर्ते घटयन्त्रे देवगन्धर्वा विदारो यक्षकिन्नरा ऋषया सर्वसिद्धाश्च नुरोसेवा वराङ्मुखा। ज्ञानं शृणु महादेवी सर्वानन्दप्रदायकं सर्वसौख्यकरं नित्यं भुक्तिमुक्तिविदायकम् श्रीमत्परब्रह्मगुरुं स्मरामि श्रीमत्परब्रह्मगुरुं वदामि श्रीमत्परब्रह्मगुरुं नमामि श्रीमत्परब्रह्मगुरुं भजामि ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदि साक्षिभूतम् भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि नित्यं शुद्धं निराभासं निराकारं निरञ्जनं नित्यबोधं चिदानन्दं गुरुं ब्रह्मा नमाम्यहम् हृदम्बुजे कर्णिकमध्यसंस्थे सिंहासने संस्थितदेव्यमूर्तिं ध्यायेत् गुरुं चन्द्रकलाप्रकाशं चित्पुस्तकाभिशवरं ददानं पीताम्बरं श्वेतविभूषं मुदितं द्विनेत्रं मामाङ्गपीठस्थितदेव्यशक्ते मन्दास्थितं सान्द्रकृपानिधानम् आनन्दमानन्दकरं प्रसन्नं ज्ञानस्वरूपं निजबोधयुक्तं नित्यम् अवरोधवैद्यं श्रीमद्गुरुं नमामि यस्मिन् सृष्टिस्थितिध्वंसा निग्रहानुग्रहात्मकम् भजते तं नमाम्यहम् प्रातः शिरसि शुक्लाब्जे द्विनेत्रं द्विभुजं गुरुं कराभयायुतं शान्तं हरितं नाम पूर्वम् न गुरोरधिकं न गुरोरधिकं न गुरोरधिकं शिवशासनता 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 इदमेव शिवं त्वेदमेव शिवं त्वेदमेव शिवं त्वेदमेव शिवं मम शासनतो मम शासनतो मम शासनतो मम शासनता एवं तं गुरुं ध्यात्वा ज्ञानमुत्पद्यते स्वयं तत्सद्गुरुप्रसादेन गुरुदर्शितं मार्गेण मनःशुद्धिं तु कारयेत् अनित्यं खण्डयेत् सर्वं यत्किञ्चिदात्मगोचरं ज्ञेयं सर्वस्वरूपं च ज्ञानं च मन उच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं समं कुर्यात् नान्यपन्था द्वितीयकः एवं श्रुत्वा महादेवी गुरुनिन्दां करोति यः स याति नरकं घोरं यावच्चन्द्रदिवाकरो यावत्कल्पान्तको देहात् तावदेवा गुरुं स्मरे गुरुलोपो न कर्तव्य स्वच्छन्दो यदि वा भवेत् वक्तव्यं प्राज्ञै शिष्यै कथञ्चन गुरोरग्रे न वक्तव्यम् असत्यं च कदाचन वरं त्वङ्कृत्य ओङ्कृत्य वरं निर्जित्य वादतः स भवेत् ब्रह्म राक्षसः सुरैर्वाशापितो यदि मृत्यो भयाद्वापि रक्षति पार्वती अशक्ता हि सुराद्यश्च अशक्ता मुनयस्तथा गुरुशापेन ते शीघ्रं क्षयं यान्ति न संशयः मन्त्रराजमिमं देवी गुरुरित्यक्षरद्वयं स्मृतिवेदार्थवाक्येन गुरो साक्षात् परं पदम् श्रुति स्मृति अविज्ञाय केवलं गुरुसेवका ये सन्न्यासिनो प्रोक्ता इतरे वेषधारिणः निर्गुणं द्वैत सर्वब्रह्माभासं दीपो दीपान्तरं यथा गुरुकृपा प्रसादेन आत्मरामं निरीक्षयेत् अनेन गुरुमार्गेण आत्मज्ञानं प्रवर्तते अब्रह्मस्तम्भपर्यन्तं परमात्मस्वरूपं स्थावरं जङ्गमं चैव प्रणमामि जगन्मयम् वन्देऽहं सच्चिदानन्दं भेदातीतं सदा गुरुं नित्यं पूर्णं निराभासं निर्गुणं स्वात्मसंस्थितं परात्परतरं देयं नित्यमानन्दकारकम् इतयाकाशमध्यस्थं शुद्धस्फटिकसंयमम् स्फटिकाप्रतिमारूपं दृश्यते दर्पणे यथा सोऽहमच्युता अङ्गुष्ठमात्रपुरुषं ध्यायतश्चिन्मयं हृदि यत्र स्फुरति भावोय शृणोतं कथयाम्यहम् अगोचरं तथा गम्यं कामरूपविवर्जितं निःशब्दं तद्विजानीय स्वभावं ब्रह्म पार्वती यथा गन्धस्वभावेन कर्पूरकुसुमादिषु शीतोष्णादिस्वभावेन यथात्मा च शाश्वतम् स्वयं तथा विदो भूत्वा स्थातव्यं यत्र कुत्रचित् कीटभ्रमरवत्तत्र ज्ञानं भवति तादृशम् गुरुध्यानं तथा कृत्वा पिण्डं किं नो महादेव पदं किं समुदारितं रूपातीतं च रूपं किम् एतदाख्यायि शङ्करम् श्रीमहादेव उवाच पिण्डं किं रूपं बिन्दुरिति गेयम् रूपातीतं निरञ्जनं पिण्डे मुक्ता पदे मुक्ता रूपे मुक्ता वरानने रूपातीते तु ये मुक्ता स्ते मुक्ता नात्र संशयः स्वयं सर्वमयो भूत्वा परं तत्त्वं विलोकयेत् परात् परतरं नान्यत् सर्वमेतन्निरालयम् तस्यावलोकनं प्राप्य सर्वमङ्गल एकाकी निःस्पृहा शान्तस्तिष्ठासि तत्प्रसादतः लब्धं वाथ न लब्धं वा स्वल्पं वा बहुलं तथा निष्कामेनैव भोक्तव्यं सदा सन्तुष्टचेतसा सर्वज्ञपदमित्याहुर्देहि सर्वमयो बुधा सदानन्दः सदा शान्तो रमते यत्र कुत्रचित् यत्रैव तिष्ठते सोऽपि सदेशः पुण्यभाजनं मुक्तस्य लक्षणं देवि तवाग्रे कथितं मया उपदेशः तथा देवी गुरुमार्गेण मुक्तिदः गुरुभक्ति तथा ध्यानं सकलं तव कीर्तितम् अनेन यद्भवेत् कार्यं तद्वदामि महामते लोकोपकारकं देवी लौकिकं तु न भावये लौकिकात् कर्मणो यान्ति ज्ञानहीना भवार्णवं ज्ञानी तु भावयेत् सर्वं कर्मनिष्कर्म यत्कृतम् इदं तु भक्तिभावेन पठते शृणुते यदि लिखित्वा तत्प्रदातव्यं तत्सर्वं सफलं भवेत् गुरुगीतात्मकं देवी तत्त्वं मयोदितं भवव्याधि विनाशार्थं स्वयमेव जपि सदा कालमृत्योभयहरं नाशनं यक्षराक्षसभूतानां चोरव्याघ्रभयापहम् पापप्रशमनं सर्वदारिद्र्यनाशनं कालमृत्युभयहरं सर्वसङ्कटनाशनं राक्षसभूतानां चोरव्याघ्रभयापहम् महाव्याधिहरं सर्वं विभूतिसिद्धिदं भवेत् अथवा मोहनं वश्यं स्वयमेव जपेत् सदा वस्त्रासने च दारिद्र्यं पाषाणे रोगसम्भवा कृष्णाजिने ज्ञानसिद्धि सौक्षस्त्रीव्याघ्रचर्मणि कुशासने ज्ञानसिद्धि सर्वसिद्धिस्तु कम्बले कुशैर्वा दुर्भया देवी आसने शुभ्रकम्बले उपविश्य ततो देवी अभेदेकाग्रमानसा नेयं शुक्लं च शान्त्यर्थं वश्ये रक्तासनं प्रिये अविचारे कृष्णवर्णं पीतवर्णं धनागमे उत्तरे शान्तिकामस्तु वश्ये पूर्वमुखो जपेत् दक्षिणे मारणं प्रोक्तं पश्चिमे च धनागम मोहनं सर्वभूतानां मन्दमोक्षकरं भवेत् देवराजप्रियकरं सर्वलोकवशं भवेत् सर्वेषां स्तम्भनकरं गुणानां च विवर्धनं दुष्कर्मनाशनं चैव सुकर्मसिद्धिदं भवेत् असिद्धं साधयेत् कार्यं नवग्रहभयापहं दुःस्वप्ननाशनं चैव सुस्वप्नफलदायकम् सर्वशान्तिकरं नित्यं तथा वन्द्यासुपुत्रदा अवैधव्यकरं स्त्रीणां सौभाग्यदायकं सदा आयुरारोग्यमैश्वर्यं पुत्रपौत्रप्रवर्धनम् अकामता स्त्रीविधवा जपान् मोक्षमवाप्नुयात् अवैधव्यं स कामतो लभते चान्यजन्मनि सर्वदुःखभयं विघ्नं नाशये च भारकम् सर्वबाधाप्रशमनं धर्मार्थकाममोक्षदं यं यं चिन्तयते कामं तं तं प्राप्नोति निश्चितम् कामितस्य कामधेनु कल्पनाकल्पपादपा चिन्तामणिश्चिन्तितस्य सर्वमङ्गलकारकम् मोक्षहेतुर्जपे नित्यं मोक्षश्रियमवाप्नुयात् भोगकामो जपेद्यो वै तस्य कामफलप्रदम् अपेक्षाक्तस्य सौरस्य गणपत्यस्य वैष्णवा दैवस्य सिद्धिदं देवी मतकाम्या जपे स्थानं कथयामि वरानने सागरे वा सरितीरे तवा हरिहरालये भक्तिदेवालये गोष्ठे सर्वदेवालये शुभे मठे च दातृमूले वा मठे वृन्दावने तथा मौनेन जपमेतं समाचरे श्मशाने वयभूमौ तु बटमूलान्तिके तथा सिद्ध्यन्ति धौतरे मूले च्यूतवृक्षस्य सन्निधौ गुरुपुत्रो वरं मूर्खस्तस्य सिद्ध्यन्ति नान्यथा शुभकर्माणि सर्वाणि दीक्षाव्रततपांसि च संसारमलनाशार्थं भवपाशनिवृत्तये गुरुगीताम्बसि स्नानं तत्त्वज्ञा कुरुते सदा स एव च गुरु साक्षात् सदा सद्ब्रह्मवित्तमः तस्य स्थानानि सर्वाणि पवित्राणि न संशया सर्वशुद्धपवित्रोऽसौ स्वभावाद्यत्र तिष्ठति तत्र गणा सर्वे क्षेत्रे पीठे वसन्ति आसनस्थशयानो वा गच्छन् तिष्ठन् वदन्नपि अश्वारूढो गजारूढः सुप्तो जागरितोऽपि वा शुचिस्माश्च सदा ज्ञानी गुरुगीता जपेन तु दर्शनमात्रेण पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते समुद्रे च यथा क्षीरे क्षीरं घृते घृतं तथात्मा परमात्मनि तथैव ज्ञानी जीवात्मा परमात्मानि लीयते ऐक्येन रमते ज्ञानी यत्र तत्र दिवानिशम् एवं विदो महामुक्ता सर्वदा वर्तते बुधा तस्य सर्वप्रयत्नेन भावभक्तिं करोति यः सर्वसन्देहरहितो मुक्तो भवति पार्वती भुक्तिमुक्ति द्वयं तस्य जिह्वाग्रे च सरस्वती अनेन प्राणिना सर्वे गुरुगीता जपेन तु सर्वसिद्धिं प्राप्नुवन्ति मुक्तिमुक्ति न संशयः सत्यं सत्यं पुनः सत्यं धर्म्यं सांख्यं मयोदितं गुरुगीता समं नास्ति सत्यं सत्यं वरानने एको देव एक धर्म एकनिष्ठा परं तपः गुरुपरतरं नान्यत् नास्ति तत्त्वं गुरुपरम् माता धन्या पिता धन्यो धन्यो वंशाकुलं तथा धन्या च वसुधा देवी गुरुभक्ति सुदुर्लभा शरीरम् इन्द्रियं प्राणाश्चार्थस्वजन् बान्धवा माता पिता कुलं देवी गुरोरेव न संशया अकल्पजन्मनां कोट्या जपव्रततपक्रिया सात्वं सफलं देवी गुरु सन्तोषमात्रतः विद्यादभो बलेनैव मन्दभाग्याशये नरा गुरुसेवां न कुर्वन्ति सत्यं सत्यं देवर्षि पितृकिन्नराः सिद्धचारणयक्षाश्च अन्येऽपि मुनयो जनाः गुरुभावः परं तीर्थम् अन्यतीर्थं निरर्थकम् सर्वतीर्थाश्रयो देवी पादाङ्गुष्ठंश वर्तते जपेन जयमाप्नोति चानन्तफलमाप्नुयात् येन कर्म त्यजन् सर्वं दानानि च धर्माणि च जपं येनासनं कुर्वन् येन कर्म फलप्रदं गुरुगीतामृताण्येव सङ्ग्रामे रिपुसङ्कटे जपं जयमवाप्नोति मरणे मुक्तिदायकं सर्वकर्म च सर्वत्र गुरुपुत्रस्य सिद्ध्यति इदं रहस्यं नो वाक्यं तवाग्रे कथितं मया सुगोप्यं च प्रयत्नेन मम त्वं च प्रियात्विति स्वामिमुख्या गणेशादि वैष्णवादीनां च पार्वती मनसापि न वक्तव्यं सत्यं सत्यं वरानन् अतीव पक्वचित्ताय श्रद्धा भक्तियुताय च प्रवक्तव्यमिदं देवि अवक्ते वञ्चके धूर्ते पाखण्डे नासिके नरे मनसापि न वक्तव्यं संसारसागरसमुद्धरणैकमन्त्रं ब्रह्मादिदेवमुनिपूजितसिद्धमन्त्रं दारिद्र्यदुःखभवरो अविनाशमन्त्रं वन्दे महाभयारं गुरुराजमन्त्रम् इति श्रीस्कन्दपुराणे उत्तरखण्डे ईश्वर पार्वती संवादे गुरुगीता समाप्ता। श्री गुरुदेव चरणार्पणमस्तु। नित्यानन्दाय गुरवे विश्वसंसारहारिणे भक्तकार्ये गदेहाय नमस्ते चित्सदात्मने निर्वसनं निराकाङ्क्षं सर्वदोषविवर्जितं निरालम्बं निरातङ्कं आनन्दं नमाम्यहं निर्ममं निरहङ्कारं समलोष्टात्मकाञ्चनं समदुःखसुखं धीरम् अविनाशिनवम् एकं विज्ञाय तत्त्वतः वीतरागभयक्रोधं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् नाहं देहो न मे देहो जीवो नाहं सनातन इति विज्ञाय संतृप्तं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् ज्ञानानिदग्धकर्माणं कामसङ्कल्पवर्जितं हेयोपादेयहीनं तं नैव यो योगी सुखं भोगं न वाञ्छति यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टं नित्यानन्दं नमामि नैव निन्दाप्रशंसाभ्यं यस विक्रियते आत्मक्रीडां महात्मानं दूतं नमाम्यहम् नित्यं जाग्रदवस्थायां स्वप्नवत्योऽवतिष्ठति नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् नास्ति यस्य शुभाशुभम् वेदज्ञानविहीनं तम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् नरं वशति नो यस्तु नित्योक्तं गुणातीतं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् भवति भुवनत्रयम् पावनं जङ्गमं तीर्थम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् सर्वपूज्यं सदा पूर्णम् अखण्डानन्दविग्रहं स्वप्रकाशं चिदानन्दं योगं निष्क्रियं शान्तं निर्मलं परमामृतं गणेशपरिवासिनं योगपूर्णं तपोमूर्तिं प्रेमपूर्णं सुदर्शनं ज्ञानपूर्णं कृपापूर्तिं दुर्जनः सज्जनो भूयात् सज्जनाः शान्तिं माप्नुयुः सन्तो मुच्येतवन्देभ्यः मुक्तशान्यान् अस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्याय्येन मार्गेण शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी सोऽयं सौवर्यं ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् स्वस्ति मातृत पितॄन्नो अस्तु स्वस्ति गोभ्यो जगत्तेषु सुवितत्रं नो अस्तु योगे वदृश्येम सूर्यम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति आरती करूं सद्गुरु की करूं सद्गुरु के प्यारे गुरुवर के आरती करूं गुरुवर के आरती करूं सद्गुरु के प्यारे गुरुवर के आरती करूं गुरुवर की। जय गुरुदेव अमल अविनाश, ज्ञान रूप कर के वास। जय गुरुदेव अमल अविनाशी, ज्ञान रूप कर के वास। पग पग पर देते प्रकाश, जैसे किरण दिन कर के। आरती करूं गुरुवर की। आरती करूं गुरु के करूं सद्गुरु की प्यार गुरुवर की। आरती करूं गुरुवर। तव से शरण तुम्हारे आए, अमृत से मीठे फल पाए। तव से शरण तुम्हारे, शरण तुम्हारे जाए छाया। कल्प वृक्ष तरु पर की। आरती करूं गुरुवर की। आरती करूं गुरुवर की। आरती ज्ञान के पूर्ण प्रकाशक यो, अज्ञान के अटल प्रवर्त। ब्रह्म ज्ञान के पूर्ण प्रकाशक योग, ज्ञान के अटल प्रवर्त। नय गुरु चरण सरोज मिटा, यथा हमारे उर की। आरती करूं गुरुवर की। आरती करूं सदा गुरु की करूं सदा गुरु की प्यार बर के। आरती करूं अंधकार से हमें निकाला, दिखलाया है हमारा उजाला। अंधकार से हमें निकाला, निकलाया है। अब ते जाने कान रहे, पाक सुनो दर दर की। आरती करूं गुरुवर की। आरती करूं सद्गुरु की करूं सद्गुरु के प्यारे गुरुवर की। आरती करूं संशय मिटा, विवेक कराया। भवसागर से पार लंघाया। संशय मिटा, विवेक कराया। भवसागर से हमारा प्रदीप जला कर कर, निजादूर सतन के। आरती करूं गुरु, आरती बताए आवागमन विमुक्त कर वेदो वेद वेद धन्य हुए हम पाकर धारा निराधर के आरती करूं गुरुवर आरती करूं सद्गुरु करूं सद्गुरु के प्यारे गुरुवर के आरती करूं गुरुवर की करो कृपा सद्गुरु जगतारण सतपथ दर्शक करो कृपा सद्गुरु जगता सतपथ दर्शक भ्रांत नित्य ज्योति विकान पाले लीला धर के आरती करूं गुरुवर आरती करूं सद्गुरु के करूं सद्गुरु प्यारे गुरुवर के आरती करूं नित्यानंद सद्गुरु दाता शक्तिपात के दिव्य प्रदाता मुक्तानंद सद्गुरु दाता शक्तिपात को करके बात गणे सपूरे भववादारले जनके आरती करूं गुरुवर आरती सारे गुरुवर की आरती करूं गुरुवर की चैतन्यं शाश्वतं शान्तं व्योमातीतं निरञ्जनं नादबिन्दु अलादिदं तस्मै श्री गुरवे सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।
Namaste Chitsadatmane. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nisprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaniitamastu Ma Vivisyavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sagurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Good morning. Welcome to one more wonderful morning of Tejas Vinavanitanasthu. So means our study may bring us light, radiance, and that is what we want here. So we've been studying basically Sri Vidya in the form of two books, which are Lalita Sahasranama and also Sandhya Lahari. And while I was beginning to read the book, in the center, where the center of the book usually is where the center of the teaching is. One Swami once told me that, and I think that might be true. So I started reading that, and they said the center is the center, and it's the heart. No, it's the same word for, like in Sanskrit, center and heart is the same word, hridaya. So I went for it. And the question today is about faith. Last time it was about doubt, and it was an interesting debate. Now it's about faith, and I brought my T-shirt that says Shraddha. And if there's time, I'll tell you the story. It's an interesting story about this T-shirt. So what happens is that we most at all times when we study these verses, this type of literature, remember the story of a jeweler that has a young child, and he sends the child to the room where they keep the vault or the safe. No? And he says, bring me some gold. So the child goes, all excited to be done something to do. And then he says, when he comes back, there's no gold. What do you mean there's no gold? This is where I keep the gold. So he goes with the child, and then he finds, what is this? He says, it's a bracelet, it's a ring, it's a, like a hair ornament. And there are also some lamps, but there's no gold. And so the father has to explain to him that the essence, that the material that everything is made of is gold. And this is a story that is used so much every time we get an explanation of what we really are and how we see ourselves and the world that surrounds us. So we are that consciousness, we are that material, we are that power of creation. And then it takes on different forms for the purpose of playing, for the purpose of sports, as it says in the scriptures, and for the purpose of identifying and knowing itself, that consciousness which is Sat. But that we tend to forget because it's easier to identify with ourselves as objects, as individuals, and everybody else at the same time. And that is what we keep forgetting. So how to remember all this? The Saundharya Lahari is a series of poems that was written by Shankaracharya. And there are two types of poems in the Indian literature, which is spiritual. And there is one that is called Kavya, which is just poetry. Poetry about beauty, poetry about the country, patriotic, or the landscape, or all, when we want to express feelings, is that kind of poetry that is called Kavya. And then the other one is called Shastra. And Shastra is praise, is teaching, is knowledge. But this book contains both characteristics in each one of the verses. So I heard a talk about it, and it was very interesting to me because at the same time it causes immense pleasure to read, immense pleasure that sometimes it makes you weep. It's amazing. Even though it is translation into English and it lacks the sound of the Sanskrit, but English is perfectly well. And then you learn and you feel and you praise and you grow and you experience expansion at the same time by reading the verses of the Sundarela Hari. And we are going to read some slowly and get into that state so that the second part of this talk is Lalita Sahasranama, that we could really understand what it means so much praising. Who are we praising? And what are the characteristics of what she is doing, of what we are narrating, what is she doing during the time that we chant the Lalita Sahasranama. So there's, I found a poem which will allow us, it's in English, it's American poet Edgar Allan Poe, and it will take us to a place where we can hear the rhythm and when we can feel the feeling. And as soon as I can open this. Okay, the poem is called Alone. Even when I was studying English, we learned this poem. I imagine that it's very popular. It's Edgar Allan Poe, American poet. So he's narrating this: from childhood's hour, I have not been as others were. From childhood's hour, I have not been as others were. I have not seen as others saw. I could not bring my passions from a common spring. So here we start getting the feeling and the atmosphere and the spirit of this poet. From the same source I have not taken my sorrow, so neither joy nor sorrow, not from the same spring as a common human. I could not awaken my heart to joy at the same tone. I could not awaken my heart to joy at the same tone. And all I loved alone. Then, in my childhood, in the dawn of a most stormy life, he's like a second part, no, opening, was drawn from every depth of good and ill, was drawn from every depth of good and ill. The mystery which binds me still, the mystery, because he was a child, from the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold. So he's a little light there, no? From the lightning in the sky, as it passed me by, flying by, from the thunder and the storm and the cloud that took the form, like Shakti, when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view. It is called Alone. So when we hear good poetry, high quality, it puts us into a state. It takes us into a desire to know more about that. So when we read Sundarela Hari, that's what happens. And we know now that we are studying and we are feeling, that we are stimulated in various parts of our being, in various parts of our mind and being. So that's what happens. And this great analysis of this book, we must read something every day. I would even go as far as to say that we can operate anywhere and just read it like this, experiencing the sound, the rhythm, the beauty of the words. And then another characteristic is that these verses are written in a medium, in a rhythm that is called Srikari. In poetry, there's many types of, thank you, many types of metrics in which you count how many syllables and where are they accentuated, and that also brings something inside us. So people who study literature, they know all these tricks, And in music, of course, it's not the same to accentuate the words in one place or another. Like the other day in the study group, I gave this example of somebody saying, how dare you desert me in the midst of the desert and not even give me a dessert? And it is just where you put the accent, it totally changes the contents. So here, each one of these verses, 17 syllables, and it's called Shrikari. And I think this little information is important because now we know what we're studying. That is such a great work of art, very respected throughout the centuries. It's not something that you just found on the internet. So when we chant this like Shivaha, Shaktya Yukto, that's 6. Shivaha, Shaktya Yukto. Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitum, that would be 11. 11 and 6 is 17. And the whole 100 verses are written in this metric. So it's quite a feat in itself, right? And then when it says, united with Shakti, and we think, how can it be united? It's only one thing, it's only one power. It's called Shakti, or it's called Shiva, depending on what it is doing, but it's only one. So here is what we call a paradox, and it's full of that type of grammatical creation. So Shiva is endowed with the power to create the universe. So the capacity is there, but not the action. When it's in a state of immanence, then it cannot move, it's not awake, so to speak, and many things are here, so to speak, but it waits until the right moment in which action, in which that power of creation, Kriya Yoga, Kriya Shakti, awakens and then begins to create the universes. But it's Shiva and Shakti. Thank you. So when we call Shiva in feminine, it's simply called Shiva. You open your mouth a little, or if you want Shiva, is the feminine, Shiva is the masculine. So even in some of these verses, it's very clearly that they have the same name. It's only the termination of the verb or the word of the subject that indicates it's feminine or masculine. So it is like one can spend hours just in one verse, like we are going to do now. So it says, it's endowed with the power to create the universe. So it's endowed, it has this capacity to do it. But why does it do it? When we see tragedies in the world, or we see something that goes very well, as they say, bad things happen to good people, it's like a sport. They define it as a sport, as a game, as a play. Like a play in the theater. The play doesn't make much sense sometimes, but you go to the theater to be entertained by certain, situations, and according to how much it moves you, really, you qualify it if it's good or bad. Like I have a friend, Aline, she says, when I go to the movies, if I don't cry, I got my money back. So this is saying that creates the universe. Otherwise, it's incapable even of pulsating, because you know that creation happens because of the pulsating, the spanda. So cannot even do that. And then, how can we, without merit? Now the merit thing here is very different, because we are at all times, especially when we are here praising Shiva Shakti, Shakti Shiva. So evidently we have the merit. We wouldn't be here doing this according to what Sundarya Lahari says. So we have it here in order to praise, but praise for what? If the goddess is all-powerful, if she can do everything, there is nothing that she can want, desire, as we were reading the Lalita, then what is the purpose? And the purpose is for us to uplift ourselves to that level. So by repeating it, that's what those chants are called, kirtan. Kirtan means the reputation of somebody. Among like Sanskrit, 10 more things, but this is one of them. So when somebody you say, oh, he is very honest, he is very capable, he is royal, he is this or that, then that is kirti. And when you kirtan, then you are chanting the reputation and praising that person or that god. So all these things I find extremely interesting. And he says, who adores you? Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma, which are the three main gods. But in what form? I found here in the Sundarya one of the verses where it says that these women, so Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Durga, were tempted by a demon who created many men that look exactly like their respective husbands. And they said, if you cannot identify which one of these is your true husband, then you're going to get in trouble because you may pick the wrong one. So what happened is that they prayed to Brahman, and they were enlightened enough. But this explains here in the moment when they chose him, and they chose the right one, they brought him home, and they were sovereign over him. So that is this scripture. One has to really read it and then look for 2-3 different translations, right? To understand what is happening, because in none of this book the explanation is complete. But then we learned something that I learned when I was going to catechism many years ago, that says when you belong to God, when you give yourself, God entirely gives itself to you. The only form to possess God, to say this is mine, is to entirely be his or hers. So this, I remember that when I was reading this, and I thought more or less the same kind of sentiment, right? The same kind of knowledge. So that is a Shastra and Kavya, and 17 syllables. And so this book cannot be read as a novel. That's why I suggest sometimes you just open it anywhere and read it and learn something from it. Because it's not a story. It is different capacities that he saw in the Creator, and he puts it in a way anthropomorphizing it, make it like a human, because otherwise how would we understand it? Because even in the Bhagavad Gita says, what is easier to worship, formless or with form? And Krishna says, without form is pretty complicated. It's the way it should be, because we should know that we are that, but it takes practice going there. So it talks also about the Kamadhenu, which is a wish-fulfilling cow. And when we worship the Devi in that form, and we believe that things will happen, they happen. They happen. It's not the cow, it's not the desire. It is something in us that has the power, like when you speak and tell the truth, and you don't know that you're telling exactly the future, but in the end it happens, as one day Gurudev explained it very well. So you are talking, somebody asks you for an opinion, or they ask you for information, and you say it, and it's the absolute essential truth. It is not true in that moment, it will be true in the future. So I think this is what happens with the Kamadhenu. When somebody has this desire, then the desire is already there, it's just a matter of time for it to be realized. And the person who prays like that is called an upasaka. So now, I thought, and I found, that in the Lalita Sahasranama, which is extremely related to the Saundarya, there is a series of names that tell what she is not and how she destroys that what she is not. So we're going to read them now, slowly, to understand, because we must identify ourselves with the one who doesn't have these defects or problems or limitations, already not having them, not hoping that if I chant 14 Guru Gitas every morning, now. And when the mind is empty, then it is easy to do that, because it has nothing to grab or hold on itself onto. And the other day, it's funny because when you're just like obsessed with something, no? So I went to the airport to drop off somebody, and they're building the new airport, so it's very complicated. And so I was looking for departures, Terminal 4. And there's all these signs, that you get distracted, you're gonna take the wrong one and it will take you a long time to be able to come. So what I experienced was this. I was totally into the terminal for departures. I noticed that everything else was still there, but in a kind of diluted, like when you saw these pictures that are very clear here and not the background. So everything was there. I was not going to hit another car, nothing. But the attention was there, and I remember focusing the attention on attention, what it says here, not on an object, okay? It's very easy, but because we're not used to doing it, we have to think of. So you do that, or when somebody is telling you an extremely interesting story and extremely information, then the attention is focused on that object, and suddenly you release it. And then the attention is focused on the attention, concentrated on the awareness itself. And then is when we can really experience this, which is having nothing. So the first one that I found is from the verse or name 156 onwards. And luckily I even did my notes by hand so that I could feel it, because it's not the same as typing. It is a totally different experience. So the first one is 156. 156 is called Ni Ra Gaye Namaha, which means she is without passion. She is without passion. But passion has many translations. So passion means also anger, means also insecurity, delusion, and all that negative thing that we are not clear. When we chant Om Niragaye Namaha, we know that we are referring to some person or me that doesn't have that kind of passion that brings you down. Then the next one, because it comes in twos, is Raga Mataye Namaha. So the number 157 means she doesn't have this desire. She destroys it. And the word destroy is always there. And if destroy sounds too violent, then you can say it dilutes it or dissolves it. It's also, you can say like that. But what I'm getting at is you think, okay, without this problem, and it's destroyed. I believe it, I see it, I know it in this very moment that it is not there. And that is the trick here with this series of names that they come in twos. First, what we want to not have, and then the act of dissolving it. And we go for the second option. So is that 156 and 57. Then 58 and 59, it says, salutation to her who is without pride. And without pride is the same thing. Each word has so many like sub-words. Even in English, many, so you can say, for example, a person who is honest and has a shop and does business for his family and feels pride in it, it's good, Some like firefighter, somebody who does good things. In itself, pride is not bad. It's this kind of pride that causes passion and delusion. So it says, Nirmadaya Namaha, she is without pride. Now, salutation to her who destroys pride. So when it is destroyed, then you no longer have it there. You don't desire things because there's no pride in it. It's like, imagine no possessions, right? When there's no possession, when you think that you have no possessions, then everything is less intense. And I can share with you, that's my enormous blessing to live here in the ashram, because here it's very easy, because the phone is not mine, it's Shanti Mandir's. My computer is not mine. The car that I drive is not mine. The room where I sleep is not mine. So it makes it very easy for a mind like mine, right? Mine is my toothbrush and my clothes. And then at the same time, by not possessing, you possess everything, 294 acres. Because with friends, I could invite somebody for coffee and say, let's go out. And we go out in. If we go that way, right? So then we can get very far away from wherever. We don't need to go outside. But this is a very particular situation that I analyze sometimes and I think, how did I do this? But it can be practiced so that in normal life we also are like the managers or administrator of things and not think so much like it's mine, because in the end it's not. If it breaks or it gets lost, something, then you just replace it. So these are all the things that are related to pride. And the book, I mean, this is my own thinking, but I got inspired by the book of Lalita Sahasranaman by the sage Bhaskararaya. His explanations are brilliant, very felt. Okay, so that is, she destroys pride. Then the other one is, salutation to her who is without care, no worries. So she is no worries, and then we want to be that, so we have to identify with the one who destroys egotism. And egotism is what causes the care, because the egotism is we identify with this limited being, and then that is where everything comes, mine, like it, dislike it. And there are 3 or 5 desire, attachment, aversion, I don't like it, I don't want it, or I like it and I want it, and attachment to life as well. So all these attachments are part of this 161. It's interesting, huh? Instead of just saying, oh God, difficult to chant, we put a little more attention and it's great. Then 162 is, she is without distraction. So she's very focused. Focused in what? The attention, focused on the attention itself. And here, Bhaskararaya talks about that other dharana that we talked about the other day, about the blue vast sky. So he mentioned it because for sure he was reading a lot of Kashmir Shaivism, Vijnana Bhairava. So he says, you lie on the floor or any horizontal position, and then you have the vast blue sky, and you see it for some time. Then you close your eyes and you make it disappear. The concentration stays there, not on the object of the sky, not in any object, just in the concentration itself. And that is where you know you are one with that, because that cannot be seen, cannot be explained. We have seen this many times. Cannot be objectified, cannot be made into an object, so therefore we are not the subject seeing or hearing or understanding or talking about Brahman. We are in that same state, which is ours. This is what it says here. It's not being spiritual, it's just being you. It's an excellent book. So then it says, 162, salutations to her who is without distraction and who destroys distractions, illusions, delusions, and then is a little list of all of these things. So when you are not seeing reality for what it is, it's called delusion. It's called imagination. It's called magic sometimes. Moha is enchanted also, like when you're fascinated with something or an idea of something that is not real. He says here, an object that doesn't exist. So I feel that each one of these words, if we're sitting down in our house, I'm going to study these 2 phrases, and it can take you so far, right? Because for that reason, for thousands of years, people have been chanting this, and the effects, the effects of doing it with regularity. I don't know if everybody knows this, but actually Navaratri is every month, when the moon is in the proper phase, but we call ourselves, when we do it, is the Maha, or the great one, and it is then in the spring and in the autumn. But just like Shivaratri, there's one every month. We only do it once a year. But when you look at the Indian calendar, every time there's something according to the phases of the moon. So people are constantly reminded of these things. And we can do that too, separate like from 5:15 to 5:30 p.m. or whatever hour is convenient, and get to this. Get elevated. I found it so beautiful. Then this one, without anger, is a salutation to her who is without anger. Salutation to her who destroys anger. Anger is a consequence of all of these things that we saw before. Because even in the Bhagavad Gita it says the attachment causes anger, causes death and death. So it's given in an order. I thought it was in alphabetical order, my mistake. But because it's ni, where it says no, actually it's alphabetical order, at least this sequence. And then, salutations to her who is without greed. And greed comes from this one that don't have desires. Depending on the desire, that is the greed. Like you get, I want $3 million or something. And then according to the desire that is mentioned before, that is what we develop as greed. And then the final one, that it says, salutations to her who has no doubt. Salutations to her who destroys doubt. So the doubt is what we saw last time. It's not being sure or not having enough faith. But faith is something that sometimes we don't know that we have faith. It's just we act on an impulse, and then the result is there. And then you remember that there was no doubt whatsoever. And I'll tell you the story of this t-shirt. So when I had to go to Mexico to take care of my mother, I went there and I didn't have much money. But I always hang out with the same kind of people. So there's something called the Expo Ser, which is an exhibition of products about the self, meaning spiritual. They sell oils, incense, music, everything that has to do with that. And it's huge. It occupies almost one building. So I had this idea and I called the coordinator because the phone number was on the flyer. And I said, you know what, I just came back from an ashram and I have a harmonium. And would you like me to play there? And she says, we don't pay any of the participants. I said, no. I'm not after the money. I just would like to share that because it's very appropriate for this. Okay, yes. So then I told everybody in the Mexico Satsang, and they came, Bernardo with the drum, and other people with the cymbals, and we organized it very well. And there was a guru there, famous Sri, but we got to close the event. And in the meantime, during those days, I had this idea to make some money. I thought, since I have on my computer the Devanagari alphabet, let me print t-shirts. So I created this called Your Name in Sanskrit. And in that same expo, I was given a space and a way to charge with credit cards. It's like everybody wanted just to help me, right? So we did it, and then we had there different colors of t-shirts and different colors of these applications. And we sold, during the whole week, 999, which is also strange that we never made it to 1,000. Then, when going back home, is where I realized I didn't have any doubts. I just had this idea. So the discussion here would be, is faith something that we have to work on, like, let me have faith? Or it's just something that grows inside and it's there? And then we call it a beautiful coincidence, but in reality, sometimes it's just that we know, So then, the verse here that we do, the Shiva Satya, I would also like to go a little bit into that, since we do it every day. So where it says incapable of even pulsating, it is a feeling that sometimes we have, but we can just do something, get into action, and then automatically the spanda is there, and something happens, and usually something very good, because the energy is being like tapped, and then you let it. The same with chanting. If you don't feel like chanting, somebody the other day told me, I haven't meditated for 3 months, and I said, well, you want a medal? And I said, I'll tell you something, go and meditate today. Because musicians have a saying that is important, and it can be applicable to our sadhana, right, Peter? It says, if you don't practice for 1 day, you know it. If you don't practice your instrument for 1 day, you know it. If you don't practice for 2 days, your teacher knows it. If you don't practice for 3 days, the music knows it. So you start losing contact with that you love by not sitting down and practicing. Same thing can be said of athletes, artists, people who memorize their lines, etc. Or like here, no? Because everything has a time, and when you do it regularly, it's very blissful. But one has to just not let the mind go, what if, no what if, no, there's no what if. It's important. So then it says that cannot move, but then starts creating all this. Have you been reading a little? Everything is interesting. I'll choose one just like this. Sometimes some of these are a little esoteric. Like for example, there's one here that's 42. It says, "Oh, daughter of the snow-capped mountain," Himalayas. No? A poet who describes the golden crown on thy head. So immediately we have the feeling here. It's not just saying, oh, it's golden. No, the poet will find a beautiful way to say what the crown is doing there in her head, golden. Set densely with precious gems. Set densely with precious gems. Constituted of the 12 suns, so brilliant. Will he not have the impression that the crescent moon on thy head, so she has a crescent moon just like Shiva because they are the same, okay? So it says the crescent moon on thy head is Indra's bow, a rainbow. So the bow for the arrows, he sees as a rainbow. On seeing the variegated hues like colors, it reflects from the diffuse light on the surrounding luminous bodies falling on it. Now you may at this point maybe want to close your eyes and I read the commentary of Swami Tapasyananda about this verse. So it says, in the metaphor which describes all the luminous bodies in the sky as gems, see, studded on the Devi's crown, and the crescent moon on her head as a rainbow, we get a fine example of combining nature poetry, kavya, with the devotional sentiment, so as to make the latter more effective and appealing. This is the trick with poetry. So it says, combining nature poetry with the devotional sentiment as to make the latter more effective Shastra is 2 things, and appealing. Besides, it implies that the Devi hymned here is not a mere anthropomorphic deity. So it's not something that had to take a human form. This is what it means. He says, it implies that the Devi hymned here is not a mere anthropomorphic deity, but the mistress of the whole universe, to whom all nature is an embellishment. Even the words are so sweet even in English. So, but a mistress of the whole universe, to whom all nature is an embellishment. So her mere presence is an embellishment of the universe. That way is so beautiful. We look up and, oh, nice stars, and they're so far away, but we created it. When we are not creating it in the mind, we don't see it. Then we see what is in the mind. This is what it explains here very clearly. Then, one more. The locks of the Devi are not glorified. And you think somebody who created like Vedanta, Advaita, how could he be so devoted, such heart, when the brain was amazing with the Upanishad? You know, the same person. We're talking about one person, 28 years old. It's so amazing. that he had all these capacities in every part of his talent, you could say. So it says here, "O consort of Shiva, may thy braid of locks resembling a forest of full-blown blue lotus flowers, luxuriant, soft and oily, remove the darkness of ignorance in our hearts. I presume that the heavenly flowers of Indra's garden have taken a place in thy locks to imbibe a little of the natural fragrance of those locks, and not to add fragrance to the locks like flowers ordinarily worn by women." Is that like, what he's saying is, by wearing these flowers, you give fragrance to the flowers, because you are so fantastically fragrant that the flowers cannot aspire to give you fragrance. They're lucky to be in your head. In other ways, you are giving that, no, that fragrance. Then his commentary. As shown in the earlier verse, the poet devotee, Shastra Kavya, takes care to see that while he is describing an ideal beauty, the object of his praise in the cosmic person, conceived as a woman, for whom all nature is a decoration. So he was able to look farther into saying, if the Devi has a feminine form, a very beautiful woman, but it is not the form that we should worship, but the power by which everything else created by her, and she lends it beauty, she lends it light, she lends it knowledge. It's not the other way around. In other words, when you think, okay, oh, that flower is so beautiful, when I walk there, I see nature, I feel so close to God. No, you are using the reverse system. Is I am Brahman, I am lending all this because I wouldn't be able to see it were it not mine, and then it's there. Is that not giving it to me? Is I am lending you to it? You know, this is what it's, right? So I am, something is beautiful because I see it beautiful. Is beauty something that exists? No, it's a perception. It's my perception. That's why, for example, in Africa, women wear like this, necklaces, so their neck is very long. Beautiful there, not necessarily beautiful here, which proves that is a relative term. It's a relative perception. Like in Mexico, when blonde women go, they're a sensation. You go to Sweden, a woman with black hair is a sensation. Even when I studied German, I learned that schwarzen Haare, black hair. It's relative to the place, it's relative to the time, it's relative to what the magazines say, it's relative to the internet. You know, like this is what it's saying. She lends that characteristic. So it says, thy braid of locks resembling a forest of full-blown blue lotus flowers, luxuriant, soft, and oily, remove the darkness of ignorance of our hearts. Then we can see. I presume that the heavenly flowers of Indra's garden have taken a place in thy locks, to imbibe a little of the natural fragrance of those locks, and not to add fragrance to the locks like flowers ordinarily worn by women. So, the commentary of this Swami. As shown in the earlier verse, the poet devotee takes care to see that while he is describing an ideal beauty, the object of his praise is the cosmic person conceived as a woman, for whom all nature is a decoration. Here, the object with which Indian women adore their locks, with adorn, he wrote adore, but it's adorn, their locks with fragrant flowers like jasmine is revered. In India, everything is sacred. They give you jasmine, this is a sacred flower, right? This is a, let's eat this on Ekadashi. This fruit is sacred. Women who wear a sari, that is a sacred garment. Sacred everything. It is fantastic. When you talk to people, everything says sacred. So it says here, the object with which Indian women adorn their locks with fragrant flowers like jasmine is revered. Even the heavenly flowers of the kalpaka tree are abiding in the Devi's locks, only to enhance their own famous fragrance, okay, by the skill, superior fragrance natural to her locks. See? So this is something we can read, we can contemplate, we can even see fantastic talks on YouTube about this. Yep. So I'm going to read another one. Well, it is 11:30. So this is 44. He says, "May we be blessed evermore by the parting middle line of thy hair, which appears to be a canal for carrying the overflowing flood of beauty of thy face." So he's saying, no, it continues like this. "The streak of vermilion," you know vermilion, what it means? Yeah. "Adorning that line looks like the rays of the rising sun entrapped by the opposing enemy hordes, of darkness, constituted of thy hair, hemming it on both sides." So this is what it's saying. You are so beautiful, even that line is beautiful, and this vermilion that adorns that line looks like the rays of the rising sun here, entrapped by the opposing enemy hordes of darkness of your hair, hemming it on both sides, both sides. So we have enough, I think, here to meditate, contemplate, enjoy, read, study. It has drawings, and we will see you very soon. Gurudev is coming very soon, August 22nd, and from then on, and even now, it's just pure celebration. Celebration here for so much. So we are invited to everything. Then we will have the details at the end of the satsang. And thank you for your presence. Sagurnath Maharaj Ki Jai.
जगावो मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो हे योगेश्वर हे ज्ञानेश्वर हे योगेश्वर हे ज्ञानेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर हे परमेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर हे परमेश्वर निज कृपा बरसावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो हम बालक तेरे द्वार पे आए हम बालक तेरे द्वार पे आए मंगल दरस दिखावो गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो शीश झुकाय करें तेरी आरती शीश झुकाय करें तेरी आरती प्रेम सुरा बरसावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो युग युग से सोई अंतर में युग युग से सोई चित्ती शक्ति को जगावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो साची ज्योत जगे हृदय में साची ज्योत जगे हृदय में सो अमनार जगावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो जीवन मुक्त आनंद विनाशी जीवन मुक्त आनंद विनाशी शरणन शरणन सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटावो ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटावो सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगावो त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव द्रविणां त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव दुराकरो दुःख दरसभा दया करो भगवान मना मंदिर में उज्ज्वल हो तेरा निर्मल ज्ञान जिस घर में हो आरती चरण कमल चितला तहान हरि वासा करे चोथानंत जगाए जहाँ भक्त कीर्तन करे बहे प्रेम दरिया तहान हरि श्रवण करे साध्य लोक से आए सब कुछ दिया आपने बेमत करुण्या नमस्कार की बेमत करुण जोड़न में दोनों हाथ नमस्कार की बेमत करुण जोड़न में दोनों हाथ ओम पूर्णमदा पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय विश्वान्यार्या इलस्परे समिर्यसे सनो वशून्यापरा संगच्छत्वं संवदध्वं संभो मनां सिजानतां देवावगम्यत पूर्वे संजानना उपासते समानो मंत्र समिति समाने समानं मना साचित्तमेषां समानं मन्त्रमभिमन्त्रये वसमाने नवो अविशाजुहोमि समानेव आकुति समानार्दयानि वः Samanamastu vo mano yata Vasu sahasati Hari Om Om Yo Shantiran Tarikshagam Shanti Prithivi Shantirapa Shantirokadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shantirvishave Deva Shantir Brahma Shanti Sarvagam Shanti Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantiredi Jato Yataha Samiyase Tato no Abhayam Kuru Shannaha Kuru Prajabhyo Bhayanaha Pashubhyaha Om Shanti 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 Sushantir Bhavatu Sarvarishta Sarvo Bhadrava Shantirastu Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitum Nache Devam Devo Nakalu Kushala Spanditum Api Atashvam Aradyam Harihara Vire Chadi Birapi Pranantum Stotum Va Katamakrita Punya Prabhavati Tava Chaka Kilana Stutirambike Sakala Shabdamai Kilate Tanu Nikila Murti Shume Bhavadan Vayo Manasi Jasubahi Prasarasucha Iti Vichin Yashive Shamita Shive Jagati Jatamaya Navashadidam Stuti Japarchana Chittaravarjita Nakalukachana Kalakalasime Nakalukachana Kalakalasime Nakaluka Chanakalasime Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. O Goddess, what piece of literature in this world is not a tribute to you? Indeed, your very being pervades all speech. O Goddess, now in my mind, your presence is perceived in every form that manifests and in every thought that arises. O destroyer of all inauspiciousness, O embodiment of auspiciousness, contemplating thus effortlessly, not a single moment of my time passes without your praise, chanting, worship, or meditation. In other words, all my worldly activities have been transformed into your worship. the Devi Stuti that we just chanted. So with this, it's always a great joy on Sundays to share all of the upcoming programs, satsang, celebrations, and all that transpires here through the ashram. So Gurudev arrives on August 22nd, so it's only a few weeks away. We're less than a month. So he'll arrive on Friday the 22nd, and on Sunday, that'll be his welcome program. So everyone is invited. Then we move into our Labor Day weekend, satsang, chanting, kirtan. And then as we move into our month of September, so just a reminder to everyone, we have our 25th celebration here, our ashram celebration of Shanti Mandir Walden. So that will start on September 19th, 20th, and 21. We are full to capacity. We have 3 Airbnbs that are full. We have another Airbnb that's being booked now. And we also just got wonderful news that we have the School of Practical Philosophy giving us unlimited accommodations there. So anyone and everyone is welcome. We will house you. Not everyone will be on property, but it's only just a little drive up the street, less than 2 miles. So please make your plans. Just to give everybody an overview, because there's a lot that's on the schedule for that weekend, but we have a picnic by the stream, we have a bonfire, we have Baba's Hari Rama Hari Krishna that will all be chanting together into a beautiful decorated tent that will be set up for the celebrations for the whole weekend. We will also have a performance by Peter Fagiola on Pakwaj. We will also have an evening concert with Vinay on Santur and Vivek on tabla. We will also have a series of acknowledgements from 11 to 1 of all of our vendors and people around the community who have assisted in building this ashram. So that's your lawyers and your town people and your plumbers and your electrical people and anyone and everyone. Everyone is invited. The cards are being distributed now. And then in the afternoon, we have an event that's geared to all of the ashram people, the staff, all of the Shanti Mandir supporters for the many, many years who have built this ashram. And so all of that's going to take place. It's going to be extremely celebratory, filled with great devotion and great feeling, and gratitude to Baba and Bhagavan and Gurudev for their grace. It is so eminent and so palpable. So it's going to be fantastic, a huge milestone for all of us here. And we're really, really looking forward to it. Now, prior to that, we have the Shiva Shakti course. So that is also expanding and expanding and expanding. That starts on September 12th is the arrival date. Friday, that's Friday. Then Saturday is the first intensive with Gurudev. So that'll be with Gurudev and also the course faculty on that Saturday the 13th. 14th is Sunday morning satsang. And then we move into the Shiva Shakti study group and the classes and all of the course material from the 15th till the 19th. Straight into Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the anniversary program. And on that Sunday, we'll have the swamis and all the priests and everybody here for all of their blessings, and everybody's already sending me all their confirmations, so it's going to be quite the weekend. And then after that, then we'll all go across the rail trail to the new area of development and give everybody an update of what all of that is evolving over there and get everyone's blessings, footprints, wishes, and all of that. And the one thing that I do want to say, just this past week, we had our first, you could say, chief guest here, and that is Madhu Chatterjee from Delhi, from the Delhi Satsang. She met Baba when she was 16, and she's now 75 years old. She came here, walked the property, and she wrote our first good wishes in writing from her, which I can read out when we get to the celebrations, but all in honor of the 25th. So that meant a lot. So there's a lot more evolving, and every time I wake up, I see surprise names that this person's coming from India, this one's coming from there, this one's coming from there, people that I didn't even have anywhere near into the intimacy of the whole thing. And so really be here. Make your plans, don't miss it. And then after the anniversary celebrations, 19, 20, 21, then 22nd, we start the Navaratra immediately. And we have Naveenji, Lavarji, they'll be here in presence. So they'll be hosting all of that and overseeing all of that. The Navaratra, that finishes on October 2nd. And then October 3rd, Gurudev departs for Argentina. He's in Argentina from the 4th to the 28th. More people are joining on that tour as well now, so that tour's in full motion, and also all of the tour preparations from Mexico as well. And then he'll be in Mexico from October 28th to November 6th, and then returning here to the ashram and spending a few weeks here before going back to India at the end of November. So again, make your plans. Be here, be in presence, enjoy all that we have to look forward to. And again, as I always say, we're so fortunate to receive the nourishment, the grace, the Shakti, the wisdom, the knowledge, the feeling, the love from this lineage, from our teachers, and from the satsang that takes place here every single week. Every Sunday, Monday through Sunday, and it just continues, and everybody comes with their love and their feeling and their support. So also to let everybody know that Prabal Mishra, who is our ashram cook here for the last several years, and our priest, one of our pujaris, he is officially engaged. We just did his engagement ceremony yesterday down in Maryland. So he'll be going to India in 2026 for the formal marriage ceremony. So when you go down for lunch prasad, you can officially congratulate him now. So, and with that, we also have another family that's here, and that is Anshul and Vandana and Ashima and Jamie, and they're here, and she's going to be getting married next year. So congratulations. Yeah. So with all of that, and Abhishek too. And everybody's invited to come up for darshan, followed by lunch prasad down in Namaste, and next Sunday we'll be hearing from Dana Wilkinson. Thank you all. Sadhgurnath Maharaj ki